So, ooh, is this a lemon drop? Oh my god, I'm really excited. I think it's a lemon drop. It's my favorite. All right, so for November, oh my god, look at this sticker. It's so pretty and painty. Oh my god, and I'm really excited. I totally forgot this was gouache. I kept thinking this was the other one I was thinking. Okay, so November is actually gouache, and it's De La Rowney, which I don't think I've ever used their gouache. I've definitely used their watercolor. It comes with 6 tubes. They're 15 milliliter tubes, and it looks like it's a custom. Oh yes. Okay, so it's titanium white, ivory black, portrait pink. These are perfect for skin tones. All 3 of these colors with a little bit of white. Cadmium yellow, hue deep, alizarin crimson, and then of course cobalt blue. So that's very, very exciting. We have this interesting, I know what this is because I actually got the memo. I saw Scrawlrbox wrote, this is not broken. Everybody thought it was a broken paintbrush. It's not. I'm sure I'm going to read a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's very interesting because it shows that it is a brush. Huh. Okay, it shows that there is a brush, but there is no brush. So I thought I read on their Instagram that it was actually not broken, but everybody thought it was. Interesting. Okay, so everybody got a broken brush? Interesting. That's fine. And then we get, of course, a pencil by Lyra and a Cume. I'm going to say Cume because I think it sounds more appropriate, eraser. And then this is the artist, Riso Chan. Very cool. Cool. I will make sure to tag her as well. This is the paper. It's really nice, like watercolor paper. And the challenge is Face of Emotion. So let's get started. I note as I'm setting up to take this nice picture, I realize this is not broken. You ready? Ta-da! It's like a travel brush so it doesn't get ruined. How did nobody figure that out? So that's pretty cool. I will definitely be using the brush. And then, yeah, I'm going to take my little picture from a photo, and then we'll get started. Okay, so I'm going to dive right in to the November box, and the prompt is Face of Emotion. And this actually made me think of this really cool book that I have. It's called Facial Expressions. It's a visual reference book for artists by Mark Simon. So this is, let me see if I can adjust this a little bit. Hold on. Perfect. So this is a really great book where there's so many people with expressions. It's fantastic. I love this book. I highly recommend it, especially if you like to draw people and comics, because you really can get a sense of all different kinds of expressions, and maybe sometimes you might not be privy to those unless you're looking in a mirror all the time, which I don't always want to be drawing my face. So yeah, I'm going to start first with clearing my desk and getting some stuff out of the way and working in my sketchbook, because I find that as long as I'm warmed up, this is from the last video, so sorry about that. Yeah, I find, just to try to show you too, when I'm warmed up, I can pretty much do anything. And sometimes my warm-ups are really just loose and kind of icky. But yeah, I mean, just to flip through my sketchbook here, you can kind of see sometimes they're real loose. And then, for example, the next page is like really, really well defined. So what I think I'm going to do is do a little bit of warm-ups and really kind of get in there and yeah, and see what I can come up with first. Face of Emotion. All right, let's get started.
So at this point, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. I thought maybe it might be fun just to kind of sketch and see where it took me. And then as I was doing it, I thought, why don't I do something that's going to relate to something I'm really excited about and that I'm working on. And as some of you might know, I am working on a graphic novel. And I have a couple main characters, but I always think the funniest one is the one that's pretty laconic through the whole story. He's got a couple things that he says, and he is full of expression. And we'll get to him a little bit later. I'll also tell you that I did another illustration of the same character, and I totally bombed it. It was awesome. I was really having fun, and then the camera died, and I thought, well, I'm going to work on it a little more while I'm waiting for the camera to charge, and then I totally just annihilated it. So I completely started over. Thankfully, they had given me 2 pieces of paper, and I started over. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna loosen up a little and have some fun. And I'm really happy I did it over because I think the expression came out better. And here he is. This is Toby. He is the laconic older brother of my main character in my graphic novel, and he loves to eat. And one of his favorite things in the world are Zeppelis. And if you've never had a Zeppeli before, you're definitely missing out. They are a staple at least where I'm from in New York. Every time you go to the fair, you always want to get a bag of Zeppelis. It's basically like fried dough, and they're just amazing. They're covered in powdered sugar, and it's basically like a donut, but not really. It's just a little fried dough ball. I think some people call them doughboys, but we always call them Zeppelis where I'm from. So I hadn't used gouache in a while. I usually use acrylic gouache or acrylic gouache, same thing, or just acrylic. And I hadn't used watercolor in a while. It's been like a couple months, but also because gouache is typically works like watercolor. You can put it down and it comes back up, and you can kind of reliquify it. What I like about acrylic gouache is that you can put it down and that's it. It's down. So with that being said, I felt really rusty, which I was kind of glad I started over because I think the first one was not as good as the second one came out. But again, it's one of those things where you just kind of have to play around, and the more you work at something, the better that you get. So as I kind of worked on him, I realized a lot of the colors were the same. Even though I had a limited color palette, you can make a lot of colors with obviously just the primaries. And because Toby is fair-skinned and he's, surrounded by, I put a bunch of Zeppelis around him, forgetting that, they're pretty much almost the same color, especially the way I like them, very pale. But I knew I was going to be adding the white glaze, and I wanted it to look very powder sugary, and it goes through some stages. And the good thing about the gouache is it is opaque, so you can build up on top of it. But again, it can reliquify, so there are areas that I notice as I'm looking at it now that were kind of like reliquifying and kind of getting a little fringy edges that I wasn't really crazy about, but I still think it worked. And as I kind of go through it, adding the white in again, kind of softening some of those tones, it kind of makes it look very squishy, and that's what I wanted because they are very squishy fried dough pieces. And then, of course, it's one of those things, too, because I didn't have line art. I'm trying to line art with the brush, and that's something that I'm not used to. It's been a while since I've done that, so I think I went in like 3 times and just did his eyes and his features to really kind of get those to pop, especially because I was working with a very, very similar color palette behind him. And then, of course, you'll notice I added lettering because that's one of the things I was really excited about with my upcoming graphic novel is I get to do all the lettering and really kind of make it my own because it's not going to, I'm basically going to self-publish it. It's not going to anybody but me, so I can do whatever I want. And yeah, so I want to always include lettering because that's part of what I do every day. And I'll say this, even though I was rusty and feeling a little rushed, more on my own part because I was filming these videos back to back over my vacation, I really tried to have fun with this one and just enjoy the fact that I was doing something that was for me and still fulfilling the Scrawlrbox challenge. And to be honest, I got these boxes to experiment with new art supplies and reinvigorate myself into using other art supplies that maybe I haven't used in a while, such as gouache. I'm not sitting here creating museum masterpieces that are going on a wall. I'm having fun, and that's the point. So that's it for this video, and I guess I'll see you back at the drawing board.